So, a number of members of the public have referenced the Coastal Commission's position on this, and while on the one hand we can say this isn't a hearing in which, and this document is not intended to incorporate, but clearly there's a link that I think can't be ignored, so I wanted to understand, and I haven't, of course, we got this information from Mr. Gorin today, so I see a Coastal Commission letter here in the package, but I haven't had time to read it. So has the Coastal Commission weighed in on this in
Mr.
any
Chair.
way that's germane? Let me just, if I could finish my question, just in any way that's germane to the language we have in front of us today relative to the ENZO effort. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, I'd reiterate what Ms. Brooke and Mr. Cato have said already. The charge for staff regarding the ENZO was not to alter the short-term vacation rental regulations. To the extent that that's occurred by the change of the definition of residential use, we'll undo that. To the extent, therefore, to the extent that the Coastal Commission and the city may have a difference of opinion regarding how the city regulates short-term vacation rentals, that's not a topic for the ENZO. That will play out in a different forum, it's again, it's not the charge of ENZO. And I suggest we will revise the definition of residential use as it's shown in the ENZO to avoid that.
So at this time, without having given it too much thought, because you just got the comment, it sounds like you could simply remove that duration component of the definition, and that would at least solve some of what we've heard today as far as their concerns.
Well, Mr. Chair, like Mr. Cato, I'd like the opportunity to kind of consider how it goes. Maybe we'll go back to the definition of residential use that's currently found in the ordinance right now. Again, we're going to take our charge in the sense of the charge was not to change the regulation of short-term vacation rentals as part of ENZO. That topic is a different topic, and so we'll figure out a way to maintain that status quo and move the.
I don't really get the staff's objective here.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, the intention with this additional language is to clarify an ambiguity that the vacation rental folks are attempting to manipulate. The city's treatment between residential uses and transient uses that are deemed a commercial use, a hotel, is split by whether the occupancy, the rental occupancy, is of 30 days or less, or more than 30 days. That has always been the distinction between a residential use and a transient commercial use for the city. So staff has chosen to clarify that in the definition of residential use, explaining, yes, this is what a residential use is, and distinguishing what is not a residential use to clarify that ambiguity. That's why this language is being proposed, and I do agree with Commissioner Thompson that we need to clarify that it is a rental of the space for a period of 30 days or less, which is the transient use. That's consistent with the city's definition of transient use found in the transient occupancy tax, chapter 4.08, section 020, subsection G.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'll just quickly say, and I don't know if you're going to try to take this separately. On the one hand, I feel like we have conflicting pieces of information. On the one hand, I hear from staff, and we heard from Mr. Vincent last week, that the new zoning ordinance work effort will not be addressing or should not be addressing or should not incorporate anything regarding short-term rentals. However, now it looks like we're actually going there.
but it's not a hotel. And I said it at every meeting that we've been at. Vacation rentals are not hotels. It's like one of the jurists famously said that he couldn't define pornography, but he knew it when he saw it. Well, maybe I can't define all of the vacation rentals, but I know it when I see it. And a hotel and a vacation rental are two different things. And I don't understand why we're spending so much effort and creating so much angst because of problems that occurred in single-family residential zones because some problem renters had created trouble for the people in the zone. Rather than dealing with it straight on and putting something in the zoning ordinance that recognizes the sharing economy that's used around the world by millions of people, we're trying to force fit it into our antiquated zoning ordinance, and it doesn't work. It's a square peg in a round hole. I don't understand why we're doing that.